Welcome back to another episode of Life and Times with Tubbcity. I got a special guest. We've been trying to get this done for about 6 to 8 months now. I got my friend, mentor. He's a real down to earth guy, legend in Boynton Beach. He's part of the company that I work for. Agency One, super agent, NFL certified, NBA certified. We got Deandre Boynton in the building.
Well, that's an Olympic intro there. No, what's going on, brother?
Man, appreciate you for coming.
No worries.
On Life and Times of Tubbcity, I like to have people that I have a relationship with, friends, family, associates. And the first question is always, what's your first memory of interacting with me?
Oh, now that's easy. I'll never forget. What kind of car you was driving out there when I met you? You pulled up. Was it like a Caprice?
The
Caprice, right?
My 96
Your
Caprice.
96
I gave it
Caprice.
to my dad.
Yeah, man. I remember getting off the plane in Sacramento. And I'm like, first of all, that was my first time going to Sacramento.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, why is this guy in Sacramento? But, like, Stan's telling me that he's like from Miami. I'm like, all right, what a big switch. And then, I see you at the restaurant, and mind you, I don't have a clue to what you look like or whatnot. You know what I mean? So when you come up, and I'm like, Stan's talking about, bringing you into the business, and the first thing I say is, yeah, he's from the 305. I see the tattoos. I see the dress. I said, yeah, he's from Miami. That guy's from Miami.
Yeah.
But then we got to talking, and I was like, nah, man, this guy be really good in the business.
Yeah.
So I think I got back on the plane, came back to Stan, and was like, nah, we got to add him to the team.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's been one of the best decisions we made, man. Like, because you're a true soldier, true team player, and that's, in order to build something, you got to have people like yourself. Yeah. So. I
appreciate that. I appreciate you. I appreciate Stan, for giving me a chance. For sure. A lot of people, a lot of companies, a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs, they may not want to give somebody a chance that doesn't have expertise or background in that select area. And you guys, I'm forever indebted, man. I appreciate that.
For sure, man. And I always think that, if somebody helps you, like, because the way I got here, somebody had to help me. Yeah. Right? Like, and it's my job now to help the next brother and the next man that wants an opportunity in the sports world. And that's what it's about, bro.
Yeah, man. So, you are agent, NFL, NBA certified agent. We'll get there. Yeah. Illustrious basketball career. But let's start. Where were you born?
I was born in Pompano Beach, Florida, man.
Okay.
Yeah, born in Pompano Beach, Florida. That's where I grew up. That's where my family's from. My mom's from Deerfield Beach, Florida. My dad was from Pompano Beach, Florida. Okay. Two towns that are literally right next to each other. You might as well consider it one because everybody's family are split between the two towns.
And it's just you and your brother?
It's me, my brother, and my sister.
Okay.
So I'm the middle child.
Okay.
My brother's the youngest, and my sister's the oldest.
Okay. What was life? And I asked this to everybody. Were you upper class, middle class, low class?
I think we came from a middle class family, man. Okay. I think my mom's an educator. My father was a police officer. Okay. They were hard workers. My mom still is an educator. I think she does it because she loves it. Yeah. My dad is now retired. But I would say middle class, man.
Okay.
Like my parents, they worked hard. They got up every day. And what I saw them do is they went to a 9-to-5 job. And most people, when you see that example, it's like that's what you maybe aspire to be. Yeah. Or some people may aspire to go beyond those depths, right? Like for me, I've always been one that, like, I never wanted to work a 9-to-5. Like that just wasn't for me. And to each his own,
When did you find that out?
Man, honestly, we played sports all our lives. My brother, my sister played. My dad used to make jokes like, in this house, you're going to either play ball, go to school. That's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
You know, and so we grew up playing sports, and you know, sports always teach you responsibility and teach you about being on time and teach you about teamwork, working with others, you know. And so for me, like, I played sports my whole life.
Yeah.
I played sports in high school. I never had a job in high school. You know, I went on a basketball scholarship. You can't have a job in college.
Yeah.
So, like, I never worked a 9 to 5. So I didn't know what a 9 to 5 was like. Like, I never had a summer job at McDonald's because, like, I was playing basketball, bro. I was traveling playing basketball. So, like, I never understood what a 9 to 5 was because I never had that experience.
Got you.
So, like, when I was thinking, you know, big picture, I was like, man, when I graduate college, I'm not going to work no 9 to 5. Like, that's not what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And you could say that. It ain't that easy, bro.
We know that.
I mean, we know that, but it ain't.
We know
that
guys
easy.
that say that.
And the one thing I can tell you, man, is that I'm blessed because I probably didn't really have that 9 to 5 experience.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, but I think some people are meant to do that and some people are not.
I mean, I could say that I've had both.
Yeah.
And this life is way better.
Of course. It's
freedom. I was in high school. I worked at KFC. I worked at Papa John's and JUCO.
Yep.
I washed cars. I sold cars.
Yep.
So I can do that, but I don't want to.
Right.
You know, like a great philosopher once said, I'd rather see it on TV than see it in person.
That's right.
Juvenile. So, was it just basketball? Was it baseball, football?
We played every sport, man. I think coming up, man, I still have this habit to this day, but when I was younger, man, my dad put us in every sport. I mean, to the point where we lived in a cul-de-sac. Like,
y'all was getting it in right there.
So, like, I mean, we had a goal. The neighbors had a goal. We would draw the lines out like a full court. I mean, because there was no cars coming. There was no traffic flow in our cul-de-sac. Like, it's a dead-end street, you know, and there's 4 houses in that circle, you know. And so, like, you know, when we would go and play a different sport, like, let's say we played hockey, man, my dad, I remember we had the whole set, man. We had the nets.
So whatever y'all wanted to do,
Florida,
he's gonna
and we had hockey pads.
Yeah,
like, I'm like, bro, like, we would go all out, and I think till this day, I have that, like, in me with my son. You know, and it's like, man, we shop at Dick's all the time because he's in a different sport. Yeah, you know, and so I think I got it honestly, but my dad had us in every.
That's cool.
Sport.
So you. Middle school, high school, when is it you're like, okay, I'm going to be a hooper?
Nah, man, I think I've always known what I wanted to do, but it was more like, you know, football was a grind. I played quarterback my whole little league. Yeah. And then my passion for basketball just continued to grow, and one of my best friends, his name was Ronald White. I mean, me and him would just put on like these little dribbling exhibitions where we just dribble the ball. Who could dribble fastest? Like, who could dribble the fastest? And, you know, one of the things that I fell in love with is just being able to handle the rock. Yeah. So people knew me as a guy that could really just handle the rock. Yeah. So my passion came from just playing. And me and my brother just competed so much against each other.
What's y'all difference?
We're 4 years apart.
Okay.
4 years apart. And I always tell people, man, people always talk about, because, you know, his accolades. He was a McDonald's All-American, the first McDonald's All-American to come out of Broward County. He played at the University of Florida. He was All-American, averaged 30-something points. How y'all think he got like that? I'm like, man, we used to have battles, bro. Like, I used to beat my little brothers behind on the basketball court that, you know, forced him. It got to a point where I remember, you know, coming home from college my freshman year and like, oh, this ain't the same kid, you know, like that you used to beat up on. And yeah. So, like, you know, having those battles, man, I think it helped him. You know, like, it helped him mold him in who he was today.
You go what high school?
I went to Deerfield Beach High School first for 3 years. And then, you know, when you start to take basketball serious and certain things start happening, we had coaching changes in the public school. Like, I think my freshman year, I had Coach Givens. I think my sophomore year, Coach Givens was there again, and then Coach Battle came. And then I think I played for Battle my sophomore year and my junior year. And then I ended up transferring to North Broward Prep.
Okay.
But North Broward Prep had just got a influx of coaches from the Lexington, Kentucky area who were pretty, I would say they were pretty known in the Lexington, Kentucky area, and they came to North Broward Prep to build the sports program, the basketball side.
Gotcha.
And they did a little bit of recruiting during that time. Okay. So we had assembled a team my senior year of a lot of top talent in Broward County, a couple of players from out of state. And I ended up transferring to North Broward Prep and playing my senior year there, which was a private school. And my brother ended up coming as well, and he was on varsity as an 8th grader. So my senior year, I played with my 8th grade brother on varsity at a prep school.
Okay. Prep. What was y'all record?
Actually, I want to say we was 20-something and 3. Okay. Ended up losing in the regional finals to Monsignor Pace. Never forget that.
Who y'all play against?
Monsignor Pace and
Miami. Was there any big time players on that team?
Yeah, man. They had Ray Shipman. They had some of the other guys. I can't really remember the names because it's been so long ago. But they were pretty good. And the craziest part of that story is that regional final game, my little 8th grade brother led us in scoring. Yeah. Wow. Crazy.
So nowadays it's like crazy, the AAU circuit. Was that prevalent in your time? Or
it was prevalent in my time, but I think I got on the landscape of it late. I actually got on my junior year. I played for the team Breakdown, who is a local team out of Fort Lauderdale area, where, I'll never forget my recruitment blew up after hitting the AAU scene with Team Breakdown. And we went out to Las Vegas to the big time tournament. And, man, I was known as like this just tenacious defender that could just run a team and handle the rock. And that's when I started getting like recruited by everybody. Like all of the mid-majors started recruiting me. Never had the high majors, but I had all mid-majors like Tulane, Boston University, all kinds of like Little League, Wofford, mid-majors started recruiting me left and right. And it's crazy, man. I go through my senior season and all those teams are staying in touch, but I'm not really getting the offers. And the University of West Florida comes in during this time, and AAU was I know it was big, but the guys that were big at the time was like the OJ Mayos of the world. Greg, what's the big man from Ohio State? Greg Oden. Cook, Michael Conley, those guys I played against. Monte Ellis. These are the guys that we played against on the AAU circuit, and I held my own versus a lot of these dudes, and I think that's when I really started to get recognized for my abilities. And I'll never forget, I committed late in my senior year to the University of West Florida, and then after the fact, I started getting offers from like FAMU, Kent State, Cincinnati. Like all these schools start coming in.
So you
late.
Stuck with it?
I mean, once I give somebody my commitment, man, I had to stick with it. I couldn't be a sellout like that, so I just stuck with it, man. Even though it was pretty cool to start getting those Division I offers late like that.
So you go to West Florida.
Yep.
Is there a big transition life-wise? Is there a big transition athletic-wise? Because you're a freshman, you're going into college now.
Listen, man, I'll never forget. And my parents, they were very supportive. Like my parents, they're sports junkies. So like taking me to college, that was an ordeal. Like taking my sister to college, that's an ordeal. We've never been away from our parents, like every kid that's going to go to college, right? And my parents drive up to Pensacola, Florida, which from South Florida is 9.5 hours, and you're still in the state of Florida. Yeah. Right? And I'll never forget the day they left me there. I sat on the bed. I was like, oh shoot, they really gone.
Yeah,
like they're going back to South Florida.
Hey man,
and so for me, that time was like, man. So I just got up. My mom had set up my dorm room. I was expecting a roommate, but he never showed up the whole semester, which was great. I lucked out on that, but I just went to the gym and put up some shots, man. And then, the season came around and school started to pick up, and I'll never forget, our first game was the University of Florida. I didn't start, and I remember going in, and I want to tell you that once I went in the game, I never came off the bench again.
Yeah.
I never came off the bench again, and it was history.
That's dope. My brother, he dropped me off when I went to school in Kansas.
Yeah,
in Hayes, Kansas. Him, Coach Reese. He actually coaches at he coaches at school in Miami. I can't think of it. And his cousin Jim, bro, they brought me there, got me a cheeseburger, and was out. And I was in that like, dang. It's a different feeling when you're sitting there.
For sure.
So, whether it was high school or college, what's some of the guys that you remember playing against that was really talented that maybe didn't pan out, or just guys that you knew that were people may not know about that were like super nice?
That's everywhere, bro. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't want to say no names. If they see this podcast, they're going to think I'm like hating on them and stuff. So it's like, I'm going to refrain from names. But there was a lot of guys that, for whatever reason, they don't make it to play college basketball, or they don't make it past college to further their sports career. But during my time coming up, it was just so many athletes, because that's all everybody did.
Everybody was in sports.
Everybody played sports. Everybody was outside. Like, nowadays, kids don't really be outside, and it's unfortunate, like, just how things pan out for athletes. Whatever it is, it could be the community, it could be grades, it could be, whatever distractions happen. Didn't allow those young men to flourish or go to the next level. And I could just tell you, there's a lot of athletes like that.
So, you're 4 years at West Florida?
I did 4 years at West Florida.
What is your statistical accolades?
I want to say I averaged 10 points, 7 assists. I did hold the all-time record for assists for a long time. Mm-hmm. And now I'm second in assists all-time. So I was a distributor.
Yeah.
Made sure I set people up.
Yeah.
But I also played defense, so I am the number one. I hold the number one spot for steals.
That's dope.
At the University of West Florida. Got to check that. Hopefully nobody knocked me off my throne.
So you glad you stayed?
I am, man. I mean, the transfer portal didn't exist.
Yeah.
People really didn't transfer like that back. I mean, when I was playing, I mean, maybe they did. I just didn't know about it. But, like, once you start something, you finish it.
Yeah.
I played for a coach, Don Hogan, who, I mean, the little running joke on the team was like, man, that shit pops. Like, because we had a really good relationship. Yeah. So the guys would, like, kind of be, hating on the fact that I got a good relationship with my coach, but I'm the point guard.
Yeah.
So, like, you got to have a good relationship. You're an extension of the coach.
You know what's going on.
You got to know everything that's going on. So, that was like the running joke on the team, but it's all it is.
So you graduate there?
Graduated there in 2009 with a sports management degree.
Okay. Yeah. Did you know then what you were gonna do now?
It was two things that I wanted to do. It was either go into coaching or be a sports agent. I did know that.
Really?
I went to school for sports management, because at the time my little brother was the McDonald's All-American and the phenom coming up. So for me, how I always think, I calculate everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, well, if my brother's going to have a chance, well, I'm going to be the guy that represents him.
Yeah.
So I had a plan when I went into college that, like, man, when I graduate, I'm representing my brother. And so I had a plan, bro. I knew that that's what I wanted to do, but my passion was also coaching. Like, I knew I wanted to go into coaching, but, I remember there was this guy, Dean Kapnick, who sat me down my junior year in college and was like, DeAndre, what do you want to do? when you finish. And I was like, well, maybe I want to go into coaching. He was like, man, well, I know a lot of coaches. He was in the sports agent business, but he was like, I know a lot of coaches. I can connect you. And I was like, but I might want to get in the sports world like you in the sports agent business. He was like, well, I got a guy down in South Florida, right in your neck of the woods, Mitch Frankel, who works for Impact Sports. He's like, I'm going to connect you there, and he did that.
This is your junior year?
My junior year in college, he connected me with Mitch Frankel, and I kind of knew, like, man, that's probably what I wanted to do. But I didn't do it right after college. I took a year to kind of figure things out. And then 2010 is when I got on at Impact Sports, and I've always known that's what I wanted to do.
It's pretty dope that you got in like early, right after school.
Somebody brought me to him.
Did you know what you were in for?
Nope, I had no clue. Seriously, man. Like, man, I had no clue, man. I tell you real stories, bro. Like, people don't even know, like, the sports world is crazy, man. I my first year in the business, share a story with you. My first year in the business, man, there was this guy out there in the world pretending to be a dude by the name of Chris Houston, who was a cornerback for the Detroit Lions. And I want to say he played for Houston Texans at the time. And there was this gentleman out there portraying that he was Chris. And he was going around to different agencies and, like, connecting with their clients. And the client would then contact the agent and be like, hey, man, Chris Houston looking to move, agents. Yeah. And long story short, come to find out, man, this dude not even the real guy. Like, he's not even the real player. And that dude ended up getting arrested.
Really?
I wouldn't even go into all the details of how he got us. But it's like, bro, like, this dude ended up getting arrested, like, personating one of the NFL athletes. And I hung out with him thinking that he was the guy. Yeah, like, it was wild. It was wild. So, listen, man, and people see, we're in 2023. I started in the sports agent business in 2010.
Yeah.
It's 13 years. Like, I started out like basically an intern. Like, you got to work your way. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Like, it's not easy at all.
Did you have support from your family and stuff?
Of course, man. I lived with my parents when I was first starting. Like, my mom and dad, they're the type of parents, like, they didn't want you to leave home.
Gotcha.
Like they would always try to warn you, like, you don't understand what these bills are gonna do. Like, they're gonna keep coming. Like, you're not ready. Stay home as long as you can.
Yeah.
And I was always like the guy, like, man, I need my freedom, man. I need my space. Like, and I'm like in a rush to do everything. Yeah. And like, life has a way of humbling you, for sure. Like, I was that guy. Like, I thought I knew everything. And I'll never forget. I jumped out there, and my mom and dad used to warn me about stuff, man. And I jumped out there, and I went and got, like, I wanted a car so bad, and I went and got this raggedy Range Rover from, like, this guy, like, shiesty guy. And, man, the Range Rover had every problem you can think of.
But it was a Range Rover.
But it was a Range Rover. That's how I looked at it. And my dad them had warned me not to do this. And, man, I ended up getting that dang truck, like, it got repossessed from me because I had an auto loan on, like, a lemon truck, man. Like, but I'm not listening to my parents, and, I'm out, jumped out here, like, I got a Range Rover, man. I'll never forget, man. I was driving that Range Rover, the suspensions went out, the thing just went to bounce. Like I said, man, listen, brother. But, well, one thing I can tell you is when you got kids and you got parents, they might not be the smartest, but they got experience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not trying to tell you because they're the smartest people in the world. They've been here before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we knuckleheads, so we won't listen. I jump out there and I'm living to impress others in a sense. And it's the wrong philosophy, man.
When so you say you've been in the business since 10.
Yep.
So that means you got to be doing something right.
Wow, hopefully.
So when was the moment that you knew, like, I'm good enough, I can do this?
Oh, man, I think I knew early, but the moment I really knew is when like my responsibilities and roles took on a deeper, like, you know, with one of the clients, Greg Smith. Greg Smith was a guy that, you know, till this day, like a brother to me, you know, but he gave me an opportunity to really guide him and educate him on just being a pro.
Yeah.
Right. Whether I might not have had all the knowledge about the agent business, but what I did have was a support system at home that I could instill some of the things that my father taught me into him. Whereas Greg might not have had that support system from internal, like from his parent, like mom or dad.
He depended on you for foundation.
He had his aunts and uncles, which were great. They were amazing. But he's a guy that really gave me an opportunity. And like, I'm forever thankful for him because I love him to death. Like, me and him been through a lot. We went through a lot together. We learned this business together. He learned how to be a pro, and I think I learned how to be a sports agent. That's my man still this day.
That's dope. A lot of people don't understand that being an agent, being in this business, the lowest percentile of the work is like contract talk.
Oh man,
it's so much other.
It's bare. Like, it's
you're dealing with moms, dads, girlfriends.
People only see what they see what they see on Ballers, right? Like the show Ballers, and people think like it's just all this, like it's a sexy situation, you know. And what they don't understand is, nah, man, you're dealing with people. You're dealing with young men that come out of the inner city who may not have the support that you had growing up. Just may have been with a single mom but never had that father figure, right? Like, you're dealing with so many different personalities and so many people
backgrounds
that come from different walks of life, right? Like, and now you've got to adjust on the fly and you've got to like kind of like learn who this person is, right? And then how can you get this person to buy in to you being able to educate them, right? So that they can grow as a professional.
I'm having flashbacks right now.
Like, they can grow as a professional, and then they can take their career, because it's a blessing, right? You wake up every day to play a sport, and they can take their career to the finish line. And there's so many obstacles that people don't even know exist. These young men don't know those obstacles exist, right? But having the tenure that I've had and the people that have been around me to help me understand the business, I think I'm able to be their GPS and guide them, right? And be like, look, man, don't go through door A. I've seen what happened if you go through door A. But if you go through door B, it's $100 million, $200 million possibly. And if you Patrick Mahomes, about $500 million, right? But that's the game.
It's so many different. I'm gonna ask you vaguely. I remember you, and what I'm saying is, there's so many different situations that we get put in that you don't know that you're put in until you're in them, and then you have to navigate out of them. You told me a story, if you can't tell it, about being somewhere and you couldn't leave.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell that story?
Yeah, I mean, I went to a particular club with one of the clients, and you know, probably shouldn't have been at that club. I know in Miami there are certain places you can't go.
Yes.
Okay. And I was warned that that's a place that you shouldn't go. You know, and the client took me because I didn't want to go. I was telling them I don't think we should go here. You're like, nah, man, it's cool. My man is like, we good. We get in there, it's a hole in the wall. Like, it's a hole in the wall. And I'll never forget, like, you know, I buy a bottle. You know, it's just me and him in the section. Some people come over. We're having a good time. The section was basically roped off by just one of the little ropes. So, I mean, me and you could touch elbows.
But it's just a rope.
Real section. It's a rope. And then the big security guard came and stood there, and he was like, you know, he was like, man, I'm going to take care of y'all tonight. You know, make sure nothing don't happen. I'm like, if somebody got to give you that type of, you know, explanation before you
shouldn't be there.
Well, I shouldn't be there. Like,
I'd rather see it on TV.
I'd rather see it on TV, brother. Man, I'll never forget, man, I paid the bill, and the dude looked at me, He said, "Hey, big dog, where y'all going?" So we going home. He was like, "Y'all ain't going nowhere."
This is security.
This is security. He said, "Y'all ain't going nowhere." So what the hell?
Did y'all do something to him? Like,
I was trying to figure out what did something happen. You know, I'm nervous, bro. Like the man say, "Y'all ain't going nowhere." When somebody tell you ain't going nowhere, like what the hell? So I'm looking at the client. I'm like, "Bro, did you do something?" I'm asking him. I asked the waiter. I said, "Did the car not go through?" What's going on here? Man said, "Man, y'all gotta take care of me before y'all go anywhere." I said, "Like, what is it? Like $50? You need 50? Like, man, you got me messed up, bro." I did. I watched y'all and made sure nothing happened to y'all all night. Like, so how much does that cost? Like, they're not paying you here? Like how much does that cost?
Are you on commission? Are you on violence commission?
I'm pretty sure they pay you hourly, or they pay you at the end of the night. And I do I think I do like $250 to get out, bro. Like I'm like not even joking. So we could leave.
Oh my God.
$250 that I probably was not expecting to pay. And like I promise you that was my first and last time ever at that place establishment. And it's still open.
Oh my God, man.
Horror.
Everybody has losses.
Of course.
Can you talk about any big wins?
Man, I think anytime you sign a kid is a big win.
Yeah.
You know, people take for granted how hard it is to sign athletes.
Yeah.
And you've got to go and have a family believe that you're the guy that can educate their basically lottery ticket. And not everybody look at the kid as a lottery ticket, right? But you've got to take this young man's career and guide him and his family to the finish line.
Yeah.
That's a big trust.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, a lot of times people think it's just so easy, but that's not easy. So I think that every time we sign a player, that's a win. That's a huge win. And then if a kid can get from rookie to second year contract, then you're really talking about the blessings that's in the business. And, you know, for me, every time a kid gets drafted or every time a kid makes a team, that's a win.
Yeah.
You know, every time you can say that you were a part of that journey, that's a win. Like, that's what drives me to get up every day and do what I do, is that, like, I see people, lives change. Like, I literally watch a guy work his butt off in college, you know, struggle, and then hear his name called, become an instant millionaire. Yeah. And all the tears just flow from all of his loved ones. And that's a win. Yeah. It's a huge win.
Super. What, so 10-year impact.
Yep.
What is the path to Agency One? How does that go?
I think in life, man, things happen for a reason. I think I'm a big believer in faith, you know, like, you know, so I put my faith in, you know, God. And, you know, the one thing that I'll tell you is that everything that happens, I truly believe that it happens for a reason. So I believe that God put me at Impact for 7 years to learn everything that I needed to know today, right? Like all the ups and the downs prepared me for today. My journey to Agency One was 7 years at Impact, take a break, go into the financial realm, understand that that wasn't for me. Like I didn't have any joy in the finance world. Yeah. I thought it was an easy transition because they wanted me to bring athletes to the table, and I realized that you can't just put on one hat and then have people see you in another hat and think that they're going to trust you. It don't work like that, right? And so learned that that wasn't for me. Yeah. And then there was a gentleman, Stanley, who brought me to Stanley. And,
word.
Yeah, so Stanley brought me to Stanley, and then me and Stan, we sat down at the Cheesecake Factory, and we just had a conversation, man.
But you were on your way somewhere else.
Yeah, I was on my way. We were getting ready to go up to New York to Rock Nation, and meet with those guys. Yeah. And I sat down with Stan, and I'll just never forget, man. We had a conversation, and the conversation just lasted for like 3 hours of just us talking about his vision and my background, and what we want to accomplish together. And when you meet certain people in life, there's a time where you just like, nah, this just feels right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just felt right. And everything he's ever told me has came to fruition. And we set out to do something. We dude, people don't even know, bro. We started in the back of a liquor store, man. Like, and we created what you see today. Yeah. And then, he was like my GPS to tell me how we're gonna build this thing out. And then I'm getting ready to go to the combine for the first year that we are together, and I run into Ron Butler, who is a guy that I had worked prior with at Impact Sports.
It was all coming back full circle.
It's all coming back full circle. Yeah. I hadn't seen Ron in forever.
I thought y'all had been in touch.
We had met a little while before I ran into him about some financial stuff with some of the guys, but I hadn't seen him in a while. And then when I had made the transition out of finance, I ran into him at the airport in regards to going to the combine, and I was like, "Hey, man, look, I made this transition back to the sports agent business. I got with my partner, and I was like, man, we should meet in the morning wherever you're staying. Like, come meet us at the hotel. Let's have a conversation." And we kind of built everything from there. Yeah, Ron took a little bit to kind of like come around and trust and believe, but he had to do his homework and due diligence. And I think we were able to build the team that we currently have now. Yeah. After that conversation.
That's dope, man. That's kind of crazy how all the stars aligned and is working out. And the first meeting that I was involved in, at the office, was kind of humbling for me. I don't know if humbling is the right word. It was kind of a moment of like proudness to be involved. Yeah. Because it was like
a bunch of brothers working together.
All these brothers working together, and this is like a real legit thing, and it's like a job that's not really a job. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
And it's like
doing something you love. Being around the game you love.
I was like, wow.
Doing it with people that look like you and I. Yeah. Like that's a win in itself. Yeah. Is it easy? No. It's definitely not easy. But it can be accomplished. Yeah. And if everybody, are working towards the same common goal, which, like I mentioned before, it's what sports teach you, man. Teamwork. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, man, are you gonna always agree? No, not gonna always agree. But you know what, man? He might have some ideas that trigger another idea in you. And if you guys come together and put this all together, it can make magic. Yeah. But it ain't always going to be pretty. And you're going to have arguments, and you're going to disagree. And he might see it this way, and I might see it this way. And, this agent might see it this way. But in the end, man, we all working for the same common goal. Yeah. And that's to win.
For the record, one-on-one, you and Ron.
Man, come on, bro. Like, this guy's not on my level. Like, and by the way, I am injured with I ruptured my patella tendon, so I don't even play basketball no more. But I would take Ron to the paint, and brother, like that's not fair. That's not fair. Ron's a football player. He played quarterback.
It's true.
Not a basketball player. Not fair.
I asked Ron this when he was on. Yeah. And who's the king of the closet?
What do you say?
Shoes. Is it you, Ira?
Man, I don't know, but Ira's kind of sneaky with his shoe game, man. Like he got a lot of kicks, bro. He just kind of like he's sneaky, but like man.
Is Ashton up there?
Ashton kind of sneaky too with his shoes, man. Like, he be pulling up to the office and he got some Bread 11s on. He got this on. He got that on. I be like, I see him. I make mental notes. You know, I see these guys. Like, but honestly, man, like, that's not even like, bro, come on, man. Like, I think those guys know what time it is.
This is you.
Come on, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, dude, come on, man. Those guys, man. Hey, listen. They got some kicks. Ira, he got some kicks. I'm not gonna mention Ron because he's not even in the conversation. Like he, man, that guy, he wear Team Jordan still. Not nothing wrong with Team Jordan, but he still wear Team Jordan. So, but Ira and Ashton, they low key, like, I be watching them, like, they got some kicks. But I'm gonna say that I'll take the title on that, brother.
That's hilarious. Ron wear Team Jordan.
Yeah,
man.
he does. That's my guy though. I love him to death. But he still rock Team Jordans. He ain't getting the latest drops. He gonna get the Jordans that's in Foot Locker on the shelf. that's just wrong.
I can't even concentrate.
My God, I love you, dog.
You know, and it's not really something to elaborate.
What's up?
Stan.
Yeah, what about
my connection?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
And for that,
that's why you don't understand what type of human
he's the realest guy.
Yeah. I don't even. I mean, I could talk about Stan for.
That's my question. Is like, what have you learned? Like, what are some of the things that you've took in from
everything? No, I'm serious. Everything, bro. Everything. Like, I was blessed, still am blessed to still have my mom and my dad in my life. I always tell people that my support system has always been there my whole entire life. Mm-hmm. Like, my mom and dad were super supportive of everything that me, my brother, and my sister did. Still is till this day. Like, if my son has a game, my mom and dad are at the game. Mm-hmm. Like, the same way they were for me. But there's some people that come into your life, and Stan is one of those people that it's just like, I pray at night and I'll be like, man, God, what did I do to deserve this guy? Mm-hmm. The most honest guy I know that's going to always hold me accountable to any mistakes that I make. Mm-hmm. But what he teaches me, man, there's no price on the knowledge that he gives me. Our relationship, somebody mentioned it today to me, is that, it ain't fake. It ain't phony. Like, this is real life. Like, it's my guy. Like, and this is one of the best humans that I know. No matter where we go in Miami, people know him, and they only know positive things about him. You know what I mean? And, like, man, he's that type of brother that is like, how did you get so lucky to meet him? And it's even for you, man. Like, just how you guys know each other. Like, crazy. You know what I'm saying? Think about that, man. Yeah. Like, that's a selfless guy, man. And the only thing he want to do is give people opportunities. Yeah. And one thing that I know is that when God bless people like him, it's like his duty. He feels it's his responsibility to bless others. And that's what he does on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And I don't know nobody that works harder. Yeah. Love the guy to death, but yeah, man, he's a hell of a guy. Yeah. Hell of a guy.
What's
it's my man.
What do you see? What do you want? What do you know? What's in your future, Agency One's future? Like, how do you see it?
Man, I see us being one of the premier agencies in the country. Mm-hmm. We don't have to be the largest agency in the country, but when I say premier, I'm talking about the services that we provide, like being real with our clients, educating our guys, having real relationships.
That's the thing that people, sorry to cut you off, it's like, being real is an attribute, telling the truth, saying no is something that you're gonna have to do, and you can't be scared to do it.
You can't be afraid to get fired. A lot of people are afraid to get fired because the client has the, they have the power to fire you. They hire you and they can fire you. But I think a lot of times people walk on eggshells because they don't want to tell that young man the truth, fearing that he would fire them. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that, bro, if you have a real relationship with somebody, you got to be able to be transparent with that young man because he doesn't know. Yeah. And so for me, when I look at Agency One and Athletes Management Group and our direction, I say to myself, I just want to be the premier agency that they're not the biggest to where I'm not going to get the attention. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get the most out of my career having somebody guide my success or my plan. But these are guys that do it together, right? They really care about me. They answer when I call. Yeah. And when it's time to really go and get this life-changing money, they're prepared. Mm-hmm. That's it, man. Yeah. And if I could do that for the next 20 to 30 years, things are good. And as I'm doing that, I think you started to see Stan's plan, and the plan is to help as many brothers as we can, help as many people as we can on this platform of being like this service premier agency that gives you a platform to go out and be an agent. Yeah. Right? Like that's our goal.
Yeah. Do you think it scares people that we may not look like others?
Yeah, of course it does. Like, that's America. That's America, brother. Like, of course, man. But I think that's why we got to go that much harder. Yeah. Right? Like, but also, I always go into every room so confident because I'm an educated brother, and I know what I'm talking about. So for me, like I always say, like the competition that's out there, man, they shadow boxing. Yeah. They don't got they shadow boxing. Like but when you walking in a room and you got this agency and this agency and you're speaking to this family and you educating this family and you're confident in what you're doing, I feel like I can beat anybody. Yeah. That's just how I feel.
On the subject, we talked about football. You're NBA certified. Yep. Is that a different world? How do you feel about the guys that you're working with in that area, and what is maybe some differences in that?
It is a different world from basketball to football, but it's like, man, if you're a surgeon, if the person is black or white and you got to do an ACL injury.
Still an ACL.
Still an ACL injury. Yeah. You got to tie it up the same way. It don't matter the skin color. It don't matter the weight. Bro, if it's an ACL injury, there's a procedure to do it. And so it's the same, like, right? But now how you acquire in basketball is probably a little different. Yeah. Because there's somebody always running every situation in basketball. Like there's some people that you got to go through and this and that, but it's all relatively the same. But there's not a lot of dual licensed agents out there. So we try to dabble in both sports and see how we make it work and continue to build on that.
Well, I think last question, whether it's NBA or NFL, if there's a younger guy, woman trying to get into the business and they say, I want to be an agent, what advice would you give them that you didn't have or that you did have to tell a younger person of how could they set themselves up for success to be in this business?
Man, to be honest with you, this business is hard, right? Like, so to tell a younger person who wants to get in the sports world, first thing I would say is, man, turn your zip your mouth, turn your ears on, go to an agency where you can learn, sit around veterans, listen, see how they do it, right? take your notes, put your notepad, get all the notes you can, and then start developing relationships.
Yeah.
Right? But you've got to learn, because it's so much that every day I'm learning different
It's
things.
unscripted.
And I'm 13 years unscripted, bro. There's no book on how to be a sports agent.
Yeah.
There's no book on how to guide a young man. There's no book to tell you that, man, this kid got cut. Now he's calling you like, what's our next play?
Yeah.
Like, what's the next move? What teams are like? Bro, there's no book for this, man. And then, like, you got to deal with his family and this and that. Like, there's no book for that.
Yeah.
You know, like, and in the end, I would just tell you, man, you can achieve anything you put your mind to. But you got to learn. You got to be willing to learn. You got to be willing to take the knowledge from the experienced agents and then apply that to yourself and then put your little spin on it, right? And then you'll be all right. But it's tough. Tough business.
It is, and it's. I mean, me coming my background from coaching and recruiting, recruiting is, you know, a thing that helped me cross over. But the learning of you've never learned enough,
right,
is a thing that you gotta put your ego to the side and be at the point to like. In college football recruiting, I was pretty good and I knew what I was doing. But now it's like, okay, I just need to shut up and listen. And okay, that's what you think we should. All right, cool. We're going to do it and to gain my knowledge and experience and to boost my, you know, confidence of understanding situations and just learning from you, Ron, Stan, of, hey, man, you just got to go. You just got to do. Man. You just gotta go. That's what I heard. That's what I just hear Stan's voice, like, just go.
I think that's the other key too, is that if you're young and trying to be in the business, like, you got to have a work ethic. Like, you got to understand about the grind of traveling.
It's not a 9 to 5.
There's not a 9 to 5, bro. Like, this is 24/7, 365. Like, there's no off day.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and I think what you get that a lot of people don't get is that, like, nah, man, I just got to go work.
Yeah. Like,
hey, man, you need me to do this, you need me to do that, man, go get it done.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Self-sufficient.
Nobody's telling you, like, you know, hey, bro, you got to be here at 9 a.m.
And to be honest, like, you know, I was coming from that world, and I'm like, okay, I wonder what they want me to do today. I wonder what they want me, and then I'm like, oh.
You find yourself calling me like, you need anything? Nah, bro, I'm good. Man, you gotta find your task. Get it done, bro. Yeah.
So
it's different.
It's different, and it's different because it's pressure because you have to be responsible.
Right.
But it's also different in that you get a certain I get a feeling that I'm being trusted to do something, and it feels good for people to okay, this is what you're gonna do. You handle that. We're gonna go over here.
Right, especially if you bring it to the finish line.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I get an appreciation for being trusted to handle whatever I'm, you know, do to handle, and it's a dope situation, man, and I appreciate it.
Nah, for sure. It's fun.
It is. Fun. I mean, of course, it's stuff we can't say on camera that we have to deal with, but it's fun. It's fun.
That's the abbreviated version. It's fun. It's hard work.
I mean, I tell, you know, I was talking to my friend Rock. He plays basketball. He's older. You know, I kind of tell him some stories that happened. He's like, nah, man.
Nobody believes your story, buddy.
He's like, nah, that didn't happen.
And nobody's gonna believe your story.
I'm like, man, this literally happened like 2 weeks ago. It happened.
Nobody's gonna believe your story.
You know, and
unless they watch Ballers.
Yeah,
because Ballers kind of depict the business a little bit. I always I told somebody the other night, man, whoever wrote Ballers, I swear they were an agent and a financial advisor.
Yeah.
Whoever helped the writers write that.
Oh yeah.
They sat with an agent and a financial advisor. Because a lot of that stuff, man,
it's real.
It's right on point. Right on point.
And I've only been maybe 2 years, 2.5, something like that.
Right.
And it's bad. It's wild. It's wildly bad that the things that you have to go through.
Oh, for sure.
And it doesn't have to be this hard, but it is.
It don't have to be this hard, but it is, bro. That's a business.
Well, man, appreciate you coming by, man. This was fun.
Yeah, no problem.
We learned about sports agency. That's 1, and 2 is Ron can't mess with you in basketball.
Nah, he doesn't.
And he wears team
Jordan.
Team Swish.
Yeah, man. But to each his own, man. That's my guy. You know?
I'm calling right now. All right. That wraps up another episode of Life and Times with Tubbcity with my man, my friend, my mentor, Deandre Boynton of Agency One.
Want to save your HOA money on your home services while enjoying the benefits of living in a community? PIN Plus, the ultimate platform that brings neighbors together under one powerful concept: power in numbers. Communities can now negotiate group discounted pricing on essential home services, trash, pest control, pool maintenance, and so much more, all at unbeatable rates. Transform your home service experience today. Visit www.mypinplus.com today for more information.